Big news has now arrived on Gunners. You want to know all the details, so follow me until the end of the video. But first, if you are in love with Arsenal, show your love and subscribe to THE channel now and turn on notifications. Here we post daily news and behind the scenes of the biggest club in THE Premier League, Arsenal. Thank you.
Arsenal faces £10 million scrutiny over pursuit of Benjamin Sesko and Viktor Gyökeres. But there's a clear strategy at play. Arsenal has come under fire for their measured approach in chasing strikers Benjamin Sesko and Viktor Gyökeres, with critics pointing to a potential £10 million gap between what the club is willing to pay and the selling club's valuations. Both RB Leipzig and Sporting CP are holding firm on their price tags, and as June comes to a close, Arsenal's patience has sparked debate. Despite continued interest in both forwards, the Gunners are taking a cautious stance, not because they don't rate the players, but because they recognise the risks involved. While Sesko and Gyökeres have clear strengths, neither is a guaranteed hit, and Arsenal is understandably reluctant to overcommit financially on uncertainty. Reports suggest that negotiations have slowed due to the gap in valuations. Still, this hasn't stopped the club from moving forward on other fronts. Deals for Martin Zubimendi and Kepa Arrizabalaga are expected to be finalised this week, while Christian Norgård is set to arrive in a deal worth around £10 million. A £20 million offer is also being prepared for Christian Mosquera. These signings have fueled criticism, with some fans asking why the club is willing to spend nearly £30 million on Norgård and Mosquera, but is hesitant to go the extra mile for a top striker. But there's a strategic logic here, one that speaks to both financial responsibility and long-term squad planning. First, Arsenal knows their squad has lacked depth in key positions, a reality that's cost them in title races due to injuries and lack of quality replacements. Prioritizing multiple signings across different roles helps ensure they don't repeat past mistakes. Spending big early on a striker could severely limit what they can do elsewhere on the pitch. By negotiating firmly and seeking value, Arsenal gives itself a better chance of strengthening the squad holistically, without compromising on financial fair play regulations. Second, there's a message to the wider football market. Overpaying now sends the wrong signal, that Arsenal is willing to meet inflated demands. That's not the image new sporting director Andrea Berta wants to project in his first transfer window. After years of criticism for overpaying and mismanaging contracts, the club is determined to establish a smarter, more disciplined approach. In the end, Arsenal isn't saying no to Sesko or Gyökeres. They're saying yes, but only at the right price. And that patience, far from being weakness, might just be the key to a stronger, more balanced squad by the end of the summer. Arsenal faces £10 million scrutiny over pursuit of Benjamin Sesko and Viktor Gyökeres, but there's a clear strategy at play. Continued. As June draws to a close, Arsenal's transfer strategy continues to divide opinions, particularly around their pursuit of two high-profile strikers, Benjamin Sesko and Viktor Gyökeres. And while both remain on the radar, new developments are putting even more pressure on the club's patience-driven approach. Scales hash the striker dilemma intensifies. Sporting CP have made it clear they won't accept anything less than their full valuation for Gyökeres, reportedly between £70 to £80 million. Despite this, the player himself has expressed a strong desire to leave, and tensions with the club are rising. It's understood that Gyökeres has informed Sporting of his intent to move on this summer, potentially weakening their negotiating power, but so far, that hasn't led to any meaningful reduction in the asking price. Benjamin Sesko, on the other hand, appears more attainable. While his release clause is estimated around €65 to €70 million, RB Leipzig are exploring whether they can secure more through bonuses or performance-based add-ons. Arsenal are said to be in active negotiations, with Sesko viewed as a younger, longer-term option with considerable upside. Importantly, he seems open to integrating into the squad gradually, without expecting immediate starting status, something that fits Arteta's vision. Busts in silhouette reaction from inside and outside the club. This measured approach has sparked debate among supporters. Many fans are asking why the club is willing to spend close to £30 million on midfielders like Norgård or defenders like Mosquera, but reluctant to push harder for a striker who could directly impact goal output next season. Inside the club, the opinions are nuanced. Arteta is reportedly in favour of Sesko, valuing his tactical versatility and willingness to learn within a structured system. Meanwhile, sporting director Andrea Berta is said to lean toward Gyökeres, whose strength and maturity make him a more immediate solution. The tension between short-term needs and long-term development is playing out behind the scenes, and in full public view. Counterclockwise arrows broader strategic implications. This transfer window also marks the first under Berta's leadership. Arsenal are determined to avoid falling into old habits, overpaying for players, agreeing to inflated wages, or failing to control the narrative in negotiations. There's a clear push to re-establish the club's credibility in the market. Arsenal want to be seen as a disciplined, well-run project that balances ambition with responsibility. This also ties into UEFA's financial fair play regulations. By being more strategic, negotiating for better deals, waiting for prices to drop, and prioritizing squad balance, Arsenal believe they'll not only stay within the rules but also build a stronger, more complete team. The club has already secured good value signings like Zubimendi and is working on other reinforcements. The idea is clear: don't let one big transfer jeopardize the whole project. What's next? If neither Gyökeres nor Sesko proves attainable within the valuation Arsenal deems fair, alternatives are being considered. The club has quietly looked into younger strikers and even potential short-term stopgaps to avoid overcommitting. That said, both Sesko and Gyökeres remain in play, and a final decision is expected soon. Final thoughts. The pressure is mounting, but Arsenal's leadership is sticking to its strategy. Don't rush, don't overspend, and don't repeat past mistakes. Whether that approach pays off will depend on how the rest of the window unfolds, but one thing is clear. This summer is not just about buying players. It's about setting a tone, both inside the club and across European football. Arsenal want to build for success, but this time, on their own terms. Arsenal have 1 week to land Mikel Arteta's dream striker after £81 million summer shake-up. The clock is ticking in North London. As Arsenal prepare to welcome their squad back for pre-season training at the Sober Realty Training Centre, a fresh wave of change is already sweeping through the club. When Mikel Arteta gathers his players on July 7th, it will be a different-looking group, and for the first time in years, Thomas Partey won't be part of it. His exit becomes official on July 1st, marking the end of a chapter and the beginning of a crucial rebuild. And while a series of key moves are in motion, including Kepa Arrizabalaga, Christian Nørgaard, Martin Zubimendi, and Christian Mosquera, one major piece of the puzzle is still missing: a new striker. Midfield and defense taking shape, but the final piece is missing. Arsenal have already laid the foundation for a strong summer. The anticipated arrival of Kepa, Nørgaard, and Zubimendi will address depth, experience, and ball progression, all areas Arteta highlighted as priorities. With Mosquera likely joining the fold and outgoings like Jorginho and Kieran Tierney helping trim the squad, the club has executed smart early business. The combined cost of these 4 moves? Around £81 million. But as the Gunners prepare to jet off to Asia, where they'll face Newcastle, AC Milan, and Tottenham Hotspur in pre-season friendlies, there's growing concern about the lack of movement in the final third. Arsenal struggled to consistently convert chances last season, and it cost them dearly in the title race. Arteta knows this. The front line is now priority number 1. A striker is urgently needed, but deals aren't easy. Top targets Victor Gyökeres and Benjamin Eko remain firmly on Arsenal's radar, but progress has stalled. Sporting CP's president has already confirmed that Gyökeres will cost well over £60 million, while Eko's value has climbed well beyond the £55 million release clause that existed just a year ago. Negotiations are delicate, and Arsenal are determined not to overpay, but time is not on their side. Arteta has made it clear behind the scenes. He wants the bulk of transfer business wrapped up before pre-season begins. He understands that tactical integration and fitness alignment are crucial, especially for attacking players who must adapt to his high-tempo, positional style quickly. Delays now could hurt Arsenal when the season kicks off in August. The winger market is just as complicated. On the wings, things aren't moving much faster. Targets like Rodrigo, Eberechi, and Morgan Rogers remain on the list, but deals have proven elusive. Nico Williams, a long-time target, is now all but off the table as Barcelona closes in. Arsenal had hoped to offload fringe players and reinvest the funds, but moving wingers has been frustratingly slow, and it's limiting their flexibility in the market. Pre-season is approaching fast. The team is expected to travel to Spain for training before flying to Asia. Some players, including Gabriel Magalhaes, William Saliba, and even the departing Partey, have already been seen working in Marbella during their off-season. The hope is that a few new faces will be waiting when the full squad regroups. But there's no guarantee. The forward line, the most urgent and transformative part of the rebuild, may take longer to resolve. And that leaves Arteta in a tricky position, planning for a crucial pre-season without knowing who will lead his attack. The stakes couldn't be higher. The groundwork is in place. The squad is strong. The system is clear. But without a consistent, top-tier striker and a dynamic winger, Arsenal risk falling just short again. Arteta and the recruitment team know this. The goal isn't just top four anymore. It's winning the Premier League, competing deep into the Champions League, and making this squad one of the most feared in Europe. With a week to go until pre-season kicks off, the pressure is mounting. This next signing won't just complete the squad, it could define Arsenal's season. Now it's time to deliver. Pressure mounting behind the scenes. Within the club, there's a quiet urgency, a shared understanding that this summer could be a turning point. After back-to-back seasons of coming painfully close to silverware, Arsenal aren't simply building for the future anymore. They're building to win now. But to get over the line, Arteta needs firepower. Last season, despite controlling matches and dominating possession, a lack of clinical finishing often left the Gunners vulnerable. The absence of a 25-goal a-season striker was glaring, and in the high-stakes world of title races, margins matter. Edu Gaspar and the recruitment team are actively exploring alternatives behind the scenes. While Gyökeres and Eco remain top targets, other profiles have quietly entered the conversation, including Santiago Giménez of Feyenoord and Joshua Zirkzee, who has drawn interest from multiple top clubs across Europe. Both are viewed as more financially accessible options, should Arsenal be forced to pivot. But every alternative also comes with compromise, and Arteta, after years of carefully building this squad, isn't eager to settle. Internal planning complicated by uncertainty. From a tactical standpoint, the lack of clarity around the attacking signings is already having ripple effects. Without a clear no.9 or final winger locked in, Arteta's plans for pre-season drills, shape work, and attacking automation remain on hold. The situation also complicates minutes for returning players like Eddie Nketiah and Reiss Nelson, who may now remain with the squad longer than anticipated. While neither is seen as a long-term solution, their futures hinge on Arsenal's ability to bring in upgrades in time. Any delay could affect squad balance, loan decisions, and even player morale. Fan expectations are higher than ever. Among supporters, expectations are soaring. Arsenal have spent heavily over the past 2 summers, and this window, now approaching £100 million, is no exception. With financial backing from ownership and a world-class stadium generating steady revenue, fans are no longer satisfied with close enough. The sentiment is clear across social media. This team is too good to wait. After seeing Manchester City edge them out twice, and with Liverpool rebuilding fast under onslaught, many fear another slow start could cost Arsenal the league before October. The bigger picture, timing and title ambitions. The timing of these signings matters. Arsenal's first 3 Premier League games, all winnable on paper, offer a critical chance to build momentum. But without attacking reinforcements in place, that opportunity could slip away. Even more pressing is the Champions League draw later this summer. Arsenal are guaranteed a place in the group stage, but seeding will depend on UEFA coefficients. Having a complete squad by then could mean the difference between drawing a tough group or one they can top. And let's not forget, Arteta's project isn't just being judged internally anymore. Other elite players, agents, and clubs are watching. How Arsenal act in the next 7 to 10 days could influence future targets, especially in a competitive market where top talents demand ambition, vision, and immediate success. In short, the pressure is real. Arsenal are 1 week away from the start of pre-season. For signings are nearly done, but the striker and winger situations remain unresolved. Mikel Arteta is pushing for early arrivals to ensure tactical preparation. Alternatives are being considered, but prices are high and timelines are tight. Fan expectations are growing, and every delay adds pressure on the board. A complete and dangerous front line could turn Arsenal into title favourites, anything less, and they risk another year of near misses. The next few days will shape more than just a summer window. They'll shape a season, and possibly the legacy of this project.